Greetings, children of the screen. Your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again, coming at you with another edition of What You Mean You Ain't Seen.
Hi, I'm Vic.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Rosie.
And today we took a look at Fanboys. Fanboys, originally released in 2009, rated PG-13, coming in at 90 minutes. It is directed by Kyle Newman, starring Sam Huntington, Chris Marquette, Dan Fogler, Jay Baruchel, and Kristen Bell. So, right on, guys. In Fanboys, we basically see a group of friends who has one member who has been separated from the others as he decided to take a more business-oriented, life path. But at a Halloween party where they meet up, he finds out that Linus, who was his best friend growing up, is dying of cancer and will be dead within a year. And so at that point, he resurrects a plan from his, junior high days, where they were basically planning to drive across country and steal a copy of Star Wars Episode 1 so they could see it before anyone else. And since his friend is dying, he basically pushes the group to go on this adventure now and have it be like their one last hurrah. So, guys, what do you think of Fanboys?
Yes.
Very
much yes.
Exact same thing.
Yes.
Sucks. I did it first.
Fanboys does not suck. Anyways,
That does not know.
I liked it. We're just gonna skip over this pussy. No,
It
seriously,
was
what did you think?
amazing. I loved it.
Holy shit! Actually likes.
It was amazing.
I did say that next time you came over and watched a movie for one of these videos, it would be something fun. So
Well, I loved it.
it's
It was
good that you
awesome.
decided to come
Yay.
today.
We gotta break rule number 2.
Chewie, prepare to make the jump to hyperspace.
Oh, yes.
Okay, bud, I'm ready.
Somebody tell me what the goddamn red button's for.
It's light speed, kid.
Light speed. Yeah. Punching!
Alright, guys, so you know the drill. What was your favorite thing out of Fanboys?
I like that they covered up all the really sad things with a bunch of humor.
Yeah. They do a really good job of it.
It's almost like they know how real life works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you still manage to have all the sad moments, but they're handled in just a really good way where the sad, because the movie, a guy's dying of cancer, but the movie's not about a guy dying of cancer.
Yeah.
It's about friends reconnecting and as they're watching their friend go through this, seeing them discover who they are again. And that's really what the purpose of the movie. So they managed to balance that out with the sadness and the humor and the kind of melancholy all really nicely. So yeah, that's a good one. And as for you, Pussy Galore.
Okay. Well, my favorite thing was the painting on the van.
Oh, the mural? Yeah.
Just all of it. It was so good.
It's really cool. I love the fact that it's Luke Skywalker with Hutch's head. Yeah. That's pretty fantastic, and it looks so out of place. It always reminds me of when I was a kid. I loved Conan, so my stepdad, who was an artist, drew Conan on my closet door, but with my face, and it always creeped me the hell out because it looked so wrong, and that's how that was. Great paint job, but really out of balance, and I like that it's a visual representation of the character growth of Hutch in the movie. So yeah, it's really good set design. It looks cool, and it actually reflects something that one of the characters goes through and represents, and helps you mark his change throughout the story. So yeah, really good use of that one as well. And as for you, Miss Rosie,
I just liked Hutch's character overall.
You want to take your shirt off?
As you wish.
Warm.
Hutch, private condo.
Dude, get out of here. It's not a good time. The force is strong with me here.
Han Solo is still a bitch!
Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
yeah,
I like all the characters, but I know someone who is exactly like Hutch.
yeah. Hutch is awesome in the movie, and Dan Fogler, who plays him, is one of my favorite comedic actors. Chris Marquette, who doesn't do a whole lot of comedy in this movie, is also an extremely funny guy. But those two guys are two of my favorite comedians working right now, especially because they're so versatile, can do so many things. There's so much in this movie that Dan Fogler just brought to the role. All the little references, pretty much all the Back to the Future references came from Dan Fogler. The reference to Serenity, the Firefly movie, where he does the finger, except in the movie it's River throwing the bag, which is also a reference to another thing in Star Wars, I guess. Someone has pointed out to me, but I know it from Serenity better. Because, yeah, fuck it, I don't know. But no, yeah, Dan Fogler's awesome. Hutch is the shit. And even, like, all the little, like, one-liners that you would hear, like, that's clearly ADR'd in is just stuff that, like, when they brought him in to do ADR, he just had ideas for, like, where to throw in little jokes here and there. Like, he's fucking amazing and really makes this movie work comedically. Like, I feel like without his character and the tone he brings, the others wouldn't mesh nearly as well. Mm-hmm. By the way, Dan Fogler wrote a comic book called Brooklyn Gladiator. It's pretty cool. Check it out.
He's also in Fantastic Beasts.
He is in Fantastic Beasts, and he's fucking awesome! Alright, so as for me, my favorite thing in the film, kind of like across the board, is all the cameos. All the cameos from, like, even, like, I'm even considering, like, the guy who plays, what's his name? Shooter McGavin. Basically the guy who owns the car dealership, who plays Home Dude's dad.
I know him from something.
Oh, yeah,
I can't place
he's
what
been
it
in
is.
Tons of movies. But yeah, like, freaking Craig Ferguson, Danny McBride, like, freaking Billy D. Williams, goddamn William fucking Shatner. Fuck yeah. Carrie Fisher, yeah. And then, like, on top of that, you got Seth Rogen playing 3 different roles. And all of them are equally funny, even though they're pretty over the top. And kind of, like, silly on the face of it. Each of the celebrity cameos kind of, like, bookends each of the individual legs of the journey, which also helps us, like, map out their specific development through each one. Like, each one of them represents either an obstacle they have to overcome or a truth about themselves that they have to, like, come to understand before they can, like, start the next leg of their journey. So not only are the cameos awesome and funny, but they're actually utilized really, really well in terms of, like, a narrative device.
Take 2 of these every 3 hours.
Oh my god.
I love you. I know.
Alright, so, least favorite things.
The fucking Jar Jar tattoo.
High right side, rebel alliance. Do or do not. That's funny. And this arm is the dark side. Don't join the dark side of the Force, Paul. Check this out. Episode 1. Boo Schnickens, Jar Jar Binks. That guy's gonna be the shit. I tell you. Wow. Right? You like that? I had them do that pose. I thought it was funny.
Really?
The Jar Jar tattoo.
I mean, like, it's totally cringeworthy, but...
Would you say it was jarring?
Or jar-jarring?
Hey!
Yeah, I love the tattoo, especially because when you go into George Lucas's office, it's Jar Jar in the
I
same
know,
pose
I know.
on his
I
screensaver.
I can't.
Laptop. It's great.
If I have to pick something, I mean the Jar Jar tattoo, I guess.
Yeah, I really thought you were going to say that they only teased us boobs and gave us, like, the same thing you'd see in a
If she
Sears
didn't want to show
catalog.
her boobs, then she doesn't have to show her boobs.
Oh, when we get to my least favorite thing, you'll find out why she didn't show her boobs.
Alright.
But it's not, my least favorite is not that she didn't show her boobs. It's the reason behind why no one showed their boobs.
Oh, it's because of fucking PG, wasn't it?
PG-13.
Fuck that PG-13 shit.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the part where he had to use the sandwiches for the seat on the toilet in the prison.
It was because they were ham sandwiches and they're already unclean.
But he could have just hovered, like...
That's what they said in the movie. Yeah, he could have just hovered.
Yeah, I agreed with them. I didn't understand.
He's a pretty big boy. Hovering probably wouldn't be very...
I'll say, have you tried to hover while shoving shove out of your shelf? While shoving shit out of your hole?
Never had to, so...
Lucky you.
I know, what kind of pampered life has this pussy been leading?
I don't get out of the house.
Talk about white privilege. Never had to hover.
God damn it.
Right on. And how about you, ma'am?
I know, given the time it was shot, this wasn't really a big deal. But I don't like that they used, like, gay and retarded as insults.
Fair. Fair.
Just because...
Yeah, even at the time when the movie's being made, well, it came out in 2009, but it was actually shot a little before that. But even then, I don't think that was okay anymore. But
I think
the
it was
movie,
like just verging on not being.
yeah,
okay.
and the movie's set in 1998, where that was still very socially accepted. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either, especially when we get to my least favorite thing. Like, if you were going to, like, if your goal was to like depict an honest period in time, then I would get it. But there are other elements in the movie that they changed for modern like sensibilities. That like, yeah, so it really, that's not why they did it. Like, it, yeah, so I can see you have a problem with it. There are other things that if the movie was handled differently where I would be like, okay, no, I'd give that a pass. Like a movie that's about racism that uses the N-word, like, that's understandable. Like I'm not going to be like, you can't use the N-word in a movie about racism, you know? So if this movie was like more about the social norms of the time, then like it would be more acceptable. But no, I totally get why that might bother you as well as some other people.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's totally valid. As for me, my least favorite thing, and it's one of those things that you probably don't even notice it until someone mentions it. It's one of those kind of problems. This movie was shot to be a rated R movie. And then because it was Star Wars, George Lucas and the Lucas people asked them to make it a PG-13 because it's about Star Wars. And they said, you can use everything you want to. We'll even give you stuff for free, like to reshoot a couple of things if you cut the movie to a PG-13. So that is why there's no nudity. They only use the word fuck once, even though if you look real closely, you can see other scenes where they said fuck and then they redubbed it later on. It's done really, really well, but I've watched this movie a bunch, so I've noticed it. Other things like, at one point in the movie, Kristen Bell pulls out a lighter to burn an Ewok's head, and people repeatedly ask me, like, well, where did she get the lighter? Like, they don't establish that she has a lighter. Like, what she just... And it's like, well, earlier in the movie, you see her smoking a cigar. She's not. She's smoking a blunt. Because there used to be a lot more weed and alcohol and stuff like that in the movie. They even had to go in the party and digitally change the cups people were drinking out of so that, like, you couldn't see alcohol in them. But Zima sponsored the movie, so they were allowed to keep Zima in the movie. So yeah, there are little things like that. And again, it's like, when it comes to like your least favorite thing about the movie, like if the movie was about like giving you an honest depiction of that period in time, then you would have just went ahead and done the rated R thing, you know? Because the movie is really honest in some other respects. Like, the way they talk is the way people talked at that time, you know? And like the relationship between the Trekkies and the Star Wars fans at that time, it was pretty crazy like that. You know, it was before we all figured out that, no, wait, we're on the same side. Wait a second.
We're all a bunch of fucking nerds that love space.
Yeah, you know, like, maybe we should just let it go a little bit, you know? So yeah, like, all those other things, has a really honest depiction, but yet, in terms of, like, the content level with these adult Star Wars fans, it's really, really toned down, except for in some bizarre places. Like, you still have a male prostitution joke. You still have the joke of, like, this guy has had cyber sex with a 10-year-old girl. And, like, all these other things that are still kind of pushing that line of, like, whoa! And luckily the movie's just entertaining enough to make up for all of that. But if it was just, like, 10% less entertaining, all those problems would show a lot more.
They'd be like, haha,
yeah.
Here we are.
Great example is, why does Windows freak out for 100 miles after seeing a woman in her bra? Because originally she showed her breast, her full breast. And he's never seen real breasts before. I just thought
that's as far as he's ever gotten, and he was like, wow!
No, that is the idea, but I don't think it works whenever what you're seeing is the same thing that you see in a Sears catalog.
True.
Yeah, and like, it's nice.
Or at the beach.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's my whole thing with it. Again, like, the movie still works totally, and it doesn't hurt the movie really in the long run. I actually think it probably helped opening it up to a wider audience. And I respect the fact that they love Star Wars so much they were willing to make that concession because George Lucas asked them to. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I would have loved to see what that original movie was. Like, it feels like a movie that would ring very true to nerd culture at the time.
I say, if they could somehow, you know, take the first run of the movie and put it out. and be like, hey, this is what this
Oh
was
yeah, because
originally
now
supposed to be.
Disney owns all that shit, and you know they don't give a fuck. They're like, oh, is it going to make us money? Then yeah, put out the rated R version. It's not Star Wars. It doesn't say Star Wars on the cover of the box. We're fine.
It just mentions it.
Yeah,
which
a
gets us
lot.
money anyways.
Yeah, it's going to make them money. They give no shits.
I don't think we're eating your everyday garden variety guacamole.
I've got recipe for emerald, avocado, onion, chopped garlic, and the chief secret ingredient. You walk right beside you. She's up in your leg. She's up in your leg. She's up in your leg. Death is but a path to life, a passage to the stars, to the universe.
I know what you mean. You mean the Force.
The Force.
Right on, guys. So, would you recommend Fanboys?
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totes. I would also absolutely recommend Fanboys. Whether you're like a big Star Wars fan or not, I'm actually honestly more of a big Star Trek fan, and I love this movie, despite the fact that it talks mad shit about Trekkies and like is very much a love letter to everything Star Wars. So for me, it still really works. It's well written. It's got a fucking amazing cast that just gives amazing performances with great cameos. It's got an awesome Rush soundtrack. And, like, at the end of the day, while it's a silly, like, funny, over-the-top comedy, it's got, like, a really sweet and, like, important, like, undercurrent message to it.
Oh, yeah.
Which, like, it doesn't force-feed you in, like, a soapboxy kind of way. Like, it allows the characters to grow, and they come to the realizations on their own, and you as the audience do the same. So it really, really works on just, like, every level. Watch the fucking movie.
Please.
Seriously, do it.
Like,
Do it.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
not
Heard it
even
from the
like
pussy.
1,000 out of 10.
Listen to the pussy.
Yeah.
Ignore the pussy. I did better.
Right on, children of the screen. Thank you very much for joining us for another edition of What You Mean You Ain't Seen, Fanboys.
Later.
Bye!
Adios.
And if you guys like this video, please leave a like and share it with some friends. That's more important now than ever with everything YouTube's been changing up on small YouTubers. Also, if you're not subscribed, then please subscribe and hit that little bell so you can get updates on all the dope content we'll have coming out in the future. Furthermore, guys, if you'd like to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, I will have the links for that in the description below. Thank you very much, children of the screen. Hope you all have a good one. Nerd Scum, out.
You're late. It's all there. Maps, passcodes, phony IDs to get you past the front gates. But that's not what's most important.
What's most important?
We never met.
Yeah. I think...
Hi. I can't believe that these are classified, and there's... Look at the maps, and there's badges, and there's trekking with TJ. What is this for?
Just something for the ride.
Thank you.
This is unreal. How did you score all this stuff?
Are you kidding? I'm William Shatner. I can score anything.
Okay. How about Jerry Ryan's panties?
Anything.